All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another IWCA show with your host Nick Thurston here, and I'm sitting here across the computer internet web here with Greg Reid, our current president of the IWCA. Greg is going to tell us some exciting information, some exciting news about something that the IWCA has been working towards and finally was able to put in place. I won't go into detail yet. I'll let him talk about that. But before you get into that, Greg, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of what your background is, how you got into the window cleaning industry, et cetera, et cetera?
Sure. Well, it's kind of undramatic, but funny at the same time. I had followed a girl from college. She graduated before me to Savannah, Georgia, actually, from the Boise, Idaho area. And while I was there, I met a guy who cleaned windows at my church. And he had asked me if I wanted to clean windows with him when I wasn't doing substitute teaching. And that's what I used to do for money while I lived in Savannah.
Interesting.
So I started cleaning windows with him and just had a great time. We would go to Hilton Head Island, South Carolina a lot. We'd be done by 2 playing basketball on the beach. And I thought that was a great time. We would do we'd clean a bunch of restaurants and they always fed us. And it was just a really good, fun job. And it was a summer job. I was outside and I've always liked that. So that's how I kind of got involved with window cleaning initially. Well, once I moved back to Boise, Idaho, and my actual fiance and I split up, one of the best times of my life, actually. Not really. But I decided that I was going to school for social work, ironically enough.
Interesting.
And I decided to start a business. I was like, I really want to start a business. So I decided to open a juice business. Well, I didn't know a lot about juice business, so I started working for a juice business. And so basically, while that was going on, about a month into it, I decided juice business isn't for me. There's no money in this juice business. I don't really think this is going to work. So these 2 guys that I knew from a coffee shop down the street came and cleaned the windows that very day that I decided this wasn't for me. So I walked outside to pay them their money. And I said, hey, what do you think about me joining up with you guys with this window cleaning thing? I kind of know I've done window cleaning before and I really enjoyed it. And the 2 guys, Tony Abel and Myra Lutherlund, said, no way, man, you can have our business. And I said, what do you mean? And they said, well, we're moving to Eugene, Oregon to blow glass and smoke grass. You can have our business. True story.
That's a hell of a way to get into it.
They just did it on the side. They probably had, 10 small businesses.
Yeah.
But it kind of got my foot in the door, and I started growing the business from there. They helped me a little bit right at the bat. They helped me with the name, Sunshine Window Cleaning. So that's how I got started in the window cleaning industry. And now I'm 29 years in, and it's been really good to me. I love the job. I love being social and working, and that's the closest I got to the social work major that I got from Boise State University. But yeah, my business now, we have about 20-ish employees. We do primarily a pretty good split, commercial and residential, and then we dabble in we do a fair amount of construction cleaning, and we probably have 2 buildings, high-rise jobs that we do here. So we don't do a lot of high-rise. I kind of got us out of that a while back, but so that's kind of my business. Yeah, that's kind of about who I am.
Very cool. So how did you get involved with the IWCA?
So I'd been a member of the IWC for a few years, probably 4 or 5, I want to say. And then I kind of dropped off. I didn't really use it much back then.
Yeah.
I didn't take advantage of everything it offered to me at that point. And after a few years, I decided, you know what, I needed to grow my business a little bit more. I needed to step it up. And I needed some help. Well, I decided just on a whim, I'm going to go to the next convention. And I did. And I met Scott Ankrantz and had a great time with him, and learned a ton from him, learned a ton of, I met some of the board members and a lot of people who were just at the convention. And I really got a good feel for a lot of things that helped my business out. Well, Scott and I hit it off as friends, and he brought up the idea of, hey, you've been in business quite a while now. You should consider being on the board. I think you'd be an asset. We don't have a huge residential, representation on the board, and I think you'd be really good. Now it's kind of the other way around. We only have 3 or 4 high-rise, but so I have to thank Scott for that. That was cool. I was hesitant, but I finally said yes. And the first year I didn't know what I was doing on the board, but I just kind of stuck with it, and I started finding my, where I fit in, finding little things of where I could help out, learning more and more about it. And finally I found my place and really enjoyed it, and started getting on more of the committees, and just love the people on the board. I love the association and what it means and what it does and what it represents. So I just went for it. I just kept going for it, and every year I was able to contribute more, and I just now I'm here. So
now we're here. That's awesome. That's I got in the same way with Scott.
You did?
Yeah, I met him, and he randomly.
He's a recruiter, like, man. I tell you.
He's like, hey, man, you should be on the board. I was like, all right, sign me up.
Yeah, he's a great guy. So
yeah, he is. So thank you to Scott.
Thank you, Scott.
Awesome. So you're on this call today to talk about something special, something in particular, and that's the Legacy Foundation. Can you tell us a little bit about what that is, and just like, what is that? How is that different from what we've been doing in the past as an organization?
Sorry, Janelle behind me is talking on the phone, and she said something that caught my attention. So I think you said you wanted me to talk about the International Window Cleaning Legacy Foundation, which is the new arm to our current association structure, which is it's a 501c6 structure. And I'll get into that a little bit more, but I just kind of wanted to talk to you guys. I'm going to read this just so I don't mess it up. But this is kind of what we have as our structure for what the Legacy Foundation is.
Okay.
The International Window Cleaning Legacy Foundation is an endowment with a goal to better serve the needs of our profession. It really meets, and I'll get into that. The purpose of the association includes, but shall not be limited to, the following: promote and train on window safety regulations as directed by OSHA general industry standards for all window cleaning companies and companies who offer window cleaning as a service. To provide resources for window cleaning companies who experience hardships to keep their businesses running and their staff protected. That's huge. That's my heart. I love that. To provide education to the window cleaning industry as a whole, to eliminate fatalities and reduce accidents in the window cleaning industry, to produce ongoing research for window cleaning companies for safety, leadership, and safety related resources. So I know I said a lot there. Do you have any questions on that?
No, I'm just excited for you to get into a little bit more.
Yeah. So it's really great. For me, the education that we provide to all window cleaning companies, whether you're a member of the IWCA or not, our goal is to offer that training. And the way we're going to offer that training is because we have a connection with OSHA already. We have an ambassadorship with OSHA. I think that's the way you put it. We were able to, we're applying for grants from OSHA. And this particular grant is a Susan Harwood grant. And this particular grant offers money from OSHA to our association to provide free training for safety training and education to every single window cleaning company out there, whether you're a member of the IWCA or not. So it's really powerful. So that hopefully will eliminate accidents that could happen But if accidents do happen out there in the field, whether they're a member or not, if they're in our profession, we want to be there for them. And with that, we're this association, or the IWCLF Foundation, will basically be able to provide some sort of financial assistance one way or another to help them through their hard times, their hardships.
That's amazing.
It's really exciting.
Yeah. So with the Susan Harwood, do you want to talk a little bit more about that, like what it is exactly, and how people would be able to use that and take advantage of that?
Yeah, I mean, literally, let's say I'm out myself and I'm out working and I get hit by a car and I can't provide for my family because I'm in the hospital, and my company is hurt because of that, right? I'm not able to do my job. Or an accident happens, I fall off a ladder, no matter what happens, but I'm in the window cleaning profession. So I could request the IWCA for assistance, or maybe the IWCA will reach out if we hear about the incident, whatever. And in some way, shape, or form, we'll be able to provide some sort of economic assistance for that particular person or company or family or whatever the need is.
Yeah. You're talking just to try and help bridge that gap of income loss due to the injury. Yeah.
Exactly.
Now, is that the Susan Harwood, or is that just what the foundation's doing, the IWCLA or CLF?
So the Susan Harwood is specific to education and training for safety and education.
So that's more the pre-injury, hopefully the more people we can get trained.
Right.
And I do know, I mean, this is exciting because training is very expensive. And especially if you're a bigger company, like even if you have just 5 employees, like 5 times maybe, $500 to get somebody trained in something, it adds up fast and it stops people.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate because it's training they need, but they can't afford. So they're trying to, it's like what comes first, chicken or the egg. And then unfortunately, it ends up going south real fast. So that's very exciting that we'll be able to help or try to help support people in that way that need that. I love that.
Definitely. It's so exciting for me. So, and I will tell you this, this was just my idea a couple years ago. And, I tried to push it forward a few times. I have a buddy of mine, Steve Walther. He was actually a keynote for the IWCA a few years back. He's in the financial world. He does a lot of insurance and stuff. Well, he explained to me that, as a 501c6, which is our structured entity as an association, historically it always has been, we weren't able to raise money as a tax-free to the giver. So it really made a difference when we were able to. So I called Paul a bunch of times about this, and Paul looked into it quite a bit. Paul did a lot of background work on this too, and he was able to actually find the Susan Harwood grant, and then the OSHA grant. I mean, not the OSHA, the Google grant, which OSHA gives us $10,000 a month to use to spread the word about our association. So pretty cool thing that Google does for that. And then
that is very cool.
Yeah.
And to clarify for anybody that doesn't know what that is, Google grant for nonprofits, they give you $10,000 worth of ad spend every single month to promote the nonprofit, so you can spread the word and get more people, educated about what it is that we're doing, and therefore be able to take advantage of it and help. So it's not just like it's money coming to us and we spend it on whatever we want. It's dedicated to the advertising of that.
Right.
Yeah.
So, this has been humbling and a great honor to be a part of the IWCA. The board now that we have is amazing. When I first joined the board, years ago, we were working towards where we are at now. And now we're at where I was hoping it would be a long time ago. And we're a bunch of, everybody on the board is a giver and not a taker. None of us get paid for what we do. This is all volunteer. We do this, you do this as a volunteer. And it's great. You get so much back from giving. and this board really knows that, and I love that about this board. So that brings in Stephen Bright had, I don't know if I gave him credit for that, but he really made an impact on me when he said, you know, he talked about givers and takers.
Mm-hmm.
And since that day he said that speech, everybody really is a giver on this board, and it's really fun to be on this board.
I concur.
Yeah, and the future is really bright now with this Legacy Foundation.
Yeah.
So I like to, you know, equate kind of the board members. I kind of wanted to say something quickly about the board members.
Yeah.
Scott, obviously, I equate everybody to a football team. So Paul Collum, obviously, you know, you could probably put him as offense or as the coach of the team, but I like to put him as a quarterback. You know, now that he's not on the board officially, but he's the quarterback for us. He calls options when he needs to. He leads the team. I mean, he does such a great job. You know, he's not only the coach, but he's also a player.
Yeah.
And that's why I didn't put him as the coach. So, and he takes our visions to another level, and he's really appreciated for that. And that's why he's a giver. Peter Artuza, he cracks me up. I call him the defensive coordinator. He's always, you know, whoa, freaking out about stuff. And I love that about him because he really brings another aspect to our board that we need, you know.
Yeah.
He's really protective, and he really wants the best. And he can be the defense, you know. He leads the defense, like, you know, we need to do this. We can't do that because of this.
Yeah.
And that's why he's a giver, you know, because he takes that effort.
Yeah. And sorry to interrupt.
Anytime.
To your analogy, I mean, Peter really does, like, he's so well connected in the industry as well.
Yeah.
And so he sees what other organizations are doing, and and you're right, he is able to stop us and go, well, they did that over here and it wasn't working, or here's what they're doing, and we have to be better. You know, it's kind of like studying the other teams, right? So
right.
You know what defensive plays to call and all that. I love that. That is very Peter.
So isn't that funny?
Yeah.
And I actually have that, you know, he's in charge of the social media committee. He's connected, and he knows how to get things done, you know.
Yes, he does.
Scott, obviously, I had to think about this one a little bit, but he's on the defense, and I think he's a linebacker. He's not built like a linebacker, but he's so knowledgeable, and he's always questioning, right? And he's making us better. I kind of said, like, he's like a spice. He always adds flavor to every discussion, you know.
I believe.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Because I'll be like, oh yeah, this is a done deal. This is for sure. And then Scott will throw in a wrench and be like, whoa. And he'll be coming up the middle like, this is easy. And he'll just freaking crush you like a linebacker. So I love that.
Yeah.
David Knowlton, he's not on the board anymore, but he was our past president last year. I call him kind of the general manager of the team. His leadership last year as president was amazing. He did such a good job. He had to make really tough decisions, and I'm so glad he did, because that is not my skill set. And everything he did for the IWCA made it easy for me. So that's why I love him.
Thank you, David.
I'll try. I'm sorry I'm taking so long on this, but
No, it's all good.
Noah Peterson, punter. And the reason why I call him the punter is he has this passion for giving, a giving heart, and he's done so much for the board. But he stays back and he interjects and he has connections with like everybody in our profession, because he's been around for so long. He has so much history. Scott does too, but he has so much history, and he's in charge of the history, all the history that gets put out on the Facebook page. And so I love that about him. Jason York, old owner, but he taught me a lot. He was the first president when I was on the board. And I love Jason. He's so good at explaining everything for a long time. George, receiver. He takes, he goes deep, right? He's changing, helping to do the translate the IWCA in different languages, help the Hispanic community, and do the training he's always going deep. I love that.
Yes, he is. Yeah.
Yeah, he does so much. He adds so much to the board. Butch Chapman, offensive line.
Yeah.
General. He's off. He looks like an offensive lineman. And he's such a humble leader, and he has such a giving heart. And he also did a lot to prep the way for our board now. And I appreciate him. And I don't know, of all the people, Butch is just that guy you just love.
Just love him.
Sheila, special teams coordinator.
Yeah. Very important.
She's in charge of the glass community. She came back onto the board. She used to be on the board, and now she's come back to serve again, which says a lot about her.
Yeah.
I've learned a ton from Sheila, her business, her model. I modeled my video after Sheila's video. I tried to make it better and I failed. Hers is better. She's just she's a go-getter. I almost wanted to put her as, a fullback, or as a running back or something. She's that kind of, she's really good. Nick, you're the fullback. You look like a fullback. What you're doing right now is such a huge thing for our association, to get the word out to help others. And it really makes a huge difference. And so I know I appreciate that.
I appreciate that too. This is just fun for me.
Right.
But it is important.
That's the great thing about the board. That's the great thing about the board. Before I get into the board anymore, I wanted to bring up, Luis, Kevin, Fernando, Joe, and Brandy are also on the board. And they're doing a great job. Kevin, is one of the lead guys on the Into the Flow podcast that really has a heart for window cleaners too, and really is aligned well with what the IWCA's mission is. And I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Others are giving back too, there's so many businesses that have given to the so my point is that this board is for anybody can be on this board. We're looking for people who have a passion just to give and to be givers. So if you're on this podcast and you are interested on being on a board like this, which is a great board, let us know. We'd love to we have a whole interview process, but if you have a love and a passion for your industry, we want to talk to you. So I just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah. And you can even start off as a committee member, just helping out before a position for the actual board comes available.
Yeah. We're always looking for people that are interested in being a guest on the committees. And then, once you kind of get your feet wet, you can decide whether you want to be on the board or not. And so it's always a good way to do it.
Awesome. That was sweet.
Well, I'm not done.
Oh.
Sorry, I'm making this longer than you probably wanted to.
No, this is great.
So kind of how this all came to pass, like I said, it was a couple of years ago. We figured out that the 501c6 wouldn't work, that we needed to do a 501c3. So the way it works is we're still a 501c6, but we created an arm that basically is attached to us. Mm-hmm. And it's a 501c3, which it gives us the ability to raise money tax free. So the way that works is they work together, but we had to have basically we had to take our committee structure for the IWCA now, our whole board structure, and mimic it. So now that's how we run it. We're basically running two separate ones, but they're basically mirrored. If that makes sense.
Right.
They have two different abilities of what they could do. It's all for the same goal.
Yeah.
So does that make sense?
Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the way I'm understanding it is we have the current IWCA 501c6. That's, this is our education. This is our just regular platform for providing for the members. But then the 501c3, the new arm, hey, there you go, right behind you. This is where we're going to be able to help financially support people.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, I love it.
So for all of you who are members of the IWCA, past presidents, current president, board members, any member that has been touched by the IWCA in any way and loves this association as much as I do, and everybody on the board and everybody I know does. So certain ways you can give. One way to give is through your life insurance. Something I learned in doing research about life insurance is that you can actually reach out to your current life insurance policy holder, and some of them will match funds or give funds free. So some will say, you know, you can designate any charity you want, and up to 3% when you, at the time of your death, it doesn't go the amount of money your family gets. I mean, nothing changes. They just add a donation to whatever nonprofit of your choosing. So if you haven't ever done that, maybe you want to give it to a different nonprofit. It's super powerful. A lot of people like myself didn't even know I had that ability. So I called my insurance, found out we had it. And so pretty cool.
Yeah. And you said that was called a rider?
It's called, yep. The actual name of that is, I have it right here. Sorry. I wrote all these notes and I didn't even look at them. A charitable giving rider. So ask your insurance company about a charitable giving rider. So for me, I have what's called a key person's insurance policy.
Yep.
What you do is you get an insurance policy out on the key person in your business in case something happens to them. It provides money to replace who they, you know, the value of that employee to your company. So everybody, I recommend doing that if you haven't. It's not that expensive. It provides a savings for you. But I really want to, I'd really like to just add to this that getting an insurance policy is a life changer. Probably not the right word, but you know, not. In the event of terminal illness, medical expenses, or death, it encourages savings and provides security for your family, and also gives you the ability to donate to the IWCA. So,
yeah,
kind of cool.
That's very cool, and tax deductible.
Tax deductible.
So,
interestingly enough, in doing the 501c3, in order to qualify for the 501c3, you have to meet one of 6 different requirements. Our association meets 3 of those: charitable, educational, and testing for public safety. So those 3 things meet the goal of what a nonprofit 501c3 are. So I kind of wanted to make sure you guys knew that.
Yeah. Important.
Also, you know, this 501c3 obviously can accept in-kind donations, like I told you earlier, cash donations, anything you want to do. So in closing, I just wanted to say that this was my idea a while ago, and I kind of feel like it would be crazy for me not to be the first to be the participant in this. And so I just closed today actually on it. So for my donation, it's going to be $10,000, and then my insurance company's matching with $3,000, so a total of $13,000. So nobody kill me. Not that much money, but I'm hoping that, you know, I can encourage other past presidents and everything to donate to this association, and this money is going to go to a good cause, to everybody in our profession, to help each other out.
Yeah.
And that's what we're about. So
yeah, no, that's super cool. I love everything about this. So where can people find more about this right now? Is it on our website yet, or is that?
We have a little bit about on our website now. More is coming. Obviously, this is new.
Cool.
You know, we still, the grant for the Susan Harwood grant, I think comes out in March. Is it March 1st? Yeah,
it's March
so
1st.
Sometime this month, I think, or the end of this month.
Okay.
So we'll know about that, and and because of our relationship with OSHA, it should be pretty much a slam dunk.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
pretty exciting. And then so more and more news will come out. Hopefully, we'll have everything done before convention. And if you're deciding whether to go to convention, I understand if you feel unsafe, but if you feel comfortable with it, we're doing everything we can to be safe. We're actually going above and beyond. And so if you can make it there, we'd love to have you and see you and help out your business and love on you.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you need any more information on the safety precautions and protocols that we're putting in place, go check out the video we did just before this one with Paul Collum, and he'll explain everything we're doing there. And yeah, so on that, Greg, thank you so much for your time, man. That was very cool. I'm very excited about this. Looking forward to learning more about it.
Well, thanks, Nick. I appreciate you doing this for us.
Yeah. So everybody else, you guys, like Greg said, if you can make it to the convention, we would love to meet you there. Love to see you. But if you can't make it, of course, there's always next year, and hopefully things are a little bit more normal by then.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, definitely go check out the website, check out the new website first and foremost. So we did another video on that with Paul Collum, so you can check that out and see what's new on there. But while you're on there, look for some information on this IWCLF Foundation and how you can utilize it, how you can take advantage of it, how you can participate in it, or just donate to it, and what it all means for you.
One last thing.
Yeah.
Forgot to mention this. I just hit it with my hand. It must have been Providence. Anybody who gives the IWCA, I had these pins made. So I don't know if you can see it very well. I'm gonna try to get it up here. Can you see that?
Oh yeah.
So I had nice. And at the very bottom, they say legacy.
Oh, cool.
So just a symbol of, your appreciation, that we want to appreciate you for giving back to the Legacy Foundation if you decide to do that. So
yeah. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, man.
That was
great
fun.
talk.
Yeah. Thanks again for being on, and we'll look forward to seeing you in a few weeks here.
Okay, buddy. Take care.
All right. Thanks, man.